Welcome back to another episode of Tides of Change. Each video takes a dozen hours to bring to life, so it would really help the channel if you could leave a like. And remember, members get early access to the next episode. Now then, back to the story. Currently, you are at the Central Tarnithia Aviary, which is also nicknamed the CTA, and it is the only seraph tower on this continent. You guys being guests at the seraph tower, it is pretty difficult for everyone except Spira to breathe. You are very high up. You're on a giant tower on top of a giant mountain. So the air is quite thin, but Spira's lungs are built for this, which is also a good thing because it's great for training. Training at high altitude. So yeah, double whammy. All right. We left off where you had met Arista in her study room, and a lot of revelations occurred in said room. One, you know that she's a studyholic and is very messy, as well as she is willing to travel to Spira's friend in order to try and help cure them, since Arista is in possession of a very small amount of unicorn horn. You guys are finishing off your tea that was prepared for you by Arista and Rox. You noticed that Zenai did not join you on the journey up, as you learned that the two sisters are not really on speaking terms because of an incident several years ago. None of the three that you've met here wanted to go into details about that, but there is a silence that hangs over the room as Arista wonders what to do next. Well, okay, before I can go, Spira, to see your friend, I will also need to know where they are, because the world is a big place and it's pretty easy to get lost, even with everything I've learned. You are from the Golden Striders, you said, so that would mean that you were going to be traveling by the... what was it called again? The Thunder something mountain.
Yes, the Thunder Vale Mountains.
Thunder Vale. Oh, yes. Okay, yeah, by the Northeast Vedantia Academy. Yes, okay, She goes back into our pile of books and she pulls out a map and she asks you to point where your friends currently are.
So you see this mountain over here, and Spira points to the map really, really close to the forest. They are here on the mountain side looking over the forest.
Oh, so okay, by Thunder Vale Mountains. Okay, I see. Arista wonders as she thinks, well, it is a long journey and I can't just go straight away. Rox, would you come with me? Would you help me? And he's like, you already know the answer to that. I'm not going to be leaving your side anytime soon. And she's like, yay, okay. So Rox and I will travel together. And is there anything we can do to convince your friends that you sent us?
I'm not really sure if you need to convince them.
I'm just worried, you know, if two people show up out of nowhere and just say, hey, we can fix you. It's, you know, it's, where I might get the door slammed in my face, and I don't want that.
Yeah, I understand that. They are, especially Viden, can be a bit protective, but just say that I sent you, and I can write you a note or something like that, and maybe have one of my feathers. I think that would be good.
Oh, okay, that would work. Maybe you could tell me who your leader's name is, and I can also confirm with them. I mean, confirm with your friends, since I would know who your leaders are, so I know both you and your leader.
Oh yeah, that is Horatia. That is our third leader. And Marcus is the retired leader.
Okay, Horatius and Marcus. Okay, she's scribbling down in her notebook.
And Viden is the one who needs help, and Britta is gonna be close by him and helping him.
Okay. Oh man, it's such a long journey. I can't take all my books. She starts already thinking about what she's got to pack for this. She's like, okay, hold up. Slaps her face a little bit. Nyx and Solaris, I don't think I haven't forgotten about you, or you, Hyacinth. I see you over there drinking your tea still. While I prepare for this journey, because it'll take a while for me to prepare. You said my sister brought you guys here, right?
And yes.
Okay, hold on. She thinks for a moment. Fine. Rox? Yes. I think it's time I finally talk to Zenai again. I agree. I think it's been 4 years. 4 years is not an insignificant time, even for a seraph. It's like, yeah, I know. It's just, okay, let's go down. Wait. As she grabs a nearby book and she's like, okay, just the basics. As she pulls out one of her own handwritten books. She's like, I'll take this down with us. Okay, let's go. She starts marching out the room as Rox just casually follows behind her, matching her speed with his normal walk. She's like, so just a few rules while you're here at the CTA. You are not allowed to enter somebody's research room without permission. So yeah, knock on doors if you're unsure. Usually someone will be in there. You're also not allowed on the upper levels. That's where we keep our clutch of eggs. They are stored up there because it can take decades, maybe even a century for a seraph egg to hatch. So we protect them while we wait for them to be ready to hatch. It is the safest place on top of the tower at the top of a mountain. But yeah, even though we have outsiders as guests, the top floors are strictly forbidden. You guys want to fly down or walk down? She gestures at the stairs or the landing pad that you guys came in on.
I think I'll fly.
So Spira can fly easily. Nyx and Hyacinth, though, you can see Rox is a bit tired. He says, I'm not transforming again. I am exhausted doing that over and over. It's been 3 times today, I think.
Well,
stairs it is.
Then stairs it is.
Stairs. I need to exercise.
Okay, Spira, could you and Hyacinth just tell Zenai that we're on our way down now, okay? And maybe just let her know that I'm ready to forgive her.
Tell her that.
All right. While they're walking down, let's do Nyx and Solaris first. So while the 3 of you are walking down, 4 of you, because Rox is also walking with you. Arista is busy rambling about all the amazing things that she has heard about the Kitsune and the Abyssal. And she kind of is pestering you for like different details down to like the smallest of things, such as, what type of cutlery do you use? Everything like that. However, do you guys have any questions for her while you're walking down?
I have questions, but I don't think I can ask her or in front of Nyx.
I see.
So maybe I will just find a moment when we are alone later and ask her then my questions.
Okay.
Meanwhile, I'm going to ask her, is it true that abyssal songs cause madness?
Oh, yes. It's one of their primal abilities from before the Great Change. I've heard that sustained exposure to it can cause permanent damage to the listener's psyche. It's similar to the myrrh in that sense, which is probably why the 2 societies get along so well, besides the whole aquatic thing. Solaris, have you ever driven someone insane? She's got a notepad ready.
I look over curiously.
Not with my special ability, no, I don't think so.
And does that mean that the Abyssal are immune to their own song? So other Abyssal, if you guys were to sing in a choir per se, wouldn't you guys drive each other insane?
No.
Well, in that case, yeah, I'm going to request that you don't sing while we're here, unless you can control it. I'm not entirely sure. Like I said, I've never actually met an Abyssal before. You're the first.
I never even used my ability yet. So yeah, I won't try now.
I wonder if maybe your leadership has a restriction on the use of the ability in order to... As she's scribbling, scribbling notes. Right, Nyx.
Looking over at her and like going, I see.
Nyx, do you have any questions?
That is it for now.
All right. So while the 4 of you are taking the stairs down from the 60th level, at least it's down, not up.
Yeah.
Spira, you and Hyacinth land back down there, and you can see Zenai she's setting up several obstacle courses as well as what looks like courts for fighting rings. He's being proactive. He spots you guys immediately, and she's like, oh, you're back so soon. That was pretty quick. How'd it go?
It went well, I would say. So we met with Arista, and they are all coming back down. They are walking though, which is why we came here a bit in advance.
She's actually coming down.
Yeah, Arista is coming down and she is gonna meet you. She told me to tell you that she is forgiving you.
Her jaw drops. She gives an expression that she doesn't usually do. So that's great news, actually. That makes life so much easier. I was, it was going to end up being passing the notes between poor Rox and her and I. So that makes life a lot easier, I guess. Well then, that Hyacinth is having a bit of a nap right now. All that tea has made her a bit tired. After several minutes, after about 15 minutes, you get down the flight of stairs, and Zenai is waiting at the base of the stairs. Arista awkwardly is hiding behind Rox, and Rox looks at Zenai without blinking or moving and just says to her and being like, take it easy, okay? And he steps aside, and you see Arista is like already got her head ducked down a little bit, and she's like, hey sis, hey. And Zenai's just like, well, It's good to see you are in good health. Yeah, Rox has been taking care of me. You know how I stay up researching. Yeah, he makes sure that I get proper sleep. Zenai looks at Rox, doesn't say anything, but nods a little bit. And is just like, well then, I know that this is difficult for the two of us. It's been many years since we last spoke, and we have guests here, so maybe we can talk more about everything in private later. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good. So sis, what's the plan here? What do you have in mind for these four? Well, it involves the devils. Yeah, I figured. They're creating demons more than ever now. Really? But it takes so much effort just to instill one of them. I know, and that's the problem. They're using it as a behavioral conditioning for me. Whenever I get close to them, they're releasing a demon somewhere as a form of punishment. And to be honest, I'm actually kind of stuck because I can't just ignore the demons and let the devils go free. So I'm hoping that these four who have agreed to partake in this journey, we're hoping to them to be the surprise element that the devils won't be expecting. Oh, in that case, I'm sorry to say it, but in their current condition, they're gonna die. She's kind of blunt. She's kind of blunt like that. Yes, but that's why I brought them here. Also, could you explain what the heck happened? I was planning on porting us straight to the top of the tower. Sis, you know that's off limits. Yeah, I know it's off limits, but I'm me. I can go where I want, and I can bring who I want where I want. She's like, and this is why the council always gives you such trouble. It's like, yeah, I was on the council. Arista stops right there and says, we agreed to talk about that later. Right. Okay, so yeah, what was that blocked us? She says, well, that was a protective glyph. They're similar to the phase circles, except the phase circles are more wild in nature. Each glyph from the phase circle is unique to the person who casts it, whereas glyphs are similar to the runes that the dwarves use. However, glyphs are passive, so they don't require an activation. They are just always in effect as long as they are drawn. So I kind of maybe upgraded the defenses of the tower a bit by meticulously carving glyphs into the walls to stop anybody from magically teleporting into the building. Ah, I see. And I guess you couldn't warn me because, well, yes, we weren't exactly on speaking terms for the past few years. Exactly. I'm glad you understand so quickly. You can tell the two of them are relaxed a bit more now as they are teasing one another and whatnot. And Zenai says, all right, okay, the four of you, Hyacinth, Solaris, Nyx, and Spira. The two of us are going to put you through the ringer. There's going to be a lot of training. I believe you have an invitation with the Monkey King, Jing Ko, in about 6 weeks, which honestly is not a lot of time. Arista quickly speaks up. And fortunately, Jing is currently the protector of the unicorns here on Tarnithia. So the unicorns saved his life, and in return, he is sheltering them within his kingdom. And one of my close friends is also a unicorn, the one that gave me the horn. So the timing of it is perfect. If you can get on Jinko's good side, then we might be able to visit the unicorns. However, I'm really hoping that my friend will be able to join us, but we're not entirely sure if she will agree to go or not. But we have to try. We have to try, Spira.
Yes, I would very much like to meet them.
So Zenai cracks her knuckles and she's just like, all right, Arista, which should we go first? Should we go with the basic physical training, or do you want to jump into developing their souls? I think going into the spiritual training is the better start, because the physical element of it is they're all connected. The mind, the body, the soul, all three elements are synchronized with each other. So it doesn't really matter which one we start with, but I think because they've already had a lot of experience, that maybe we can start off with specialty. Jensen pops up and is like, your specialty? Okay, so I have 2 specialties. In the magic systems, there are many, many different types out there. I am one of the few people who has permission for soul script, and unfortunately that means I can't teach you soul script. It's actually magic involving the alteration to the properties of souls, both yourself and others. It's a category of forbidden magic, along with Necros, spirit death. I don't have permission for Necros magic, obviously, but yes, I have permission for soul script. However, I also have another specialty, and it's a technique that I was developed. It's known as aura. We are going to be learning how to create the physical application of your spirit that are always around your body. The advantage of this is that it means as long as you have spirits around your body, you will be able to mitigate physical effects that will take upon your bodies, which, and Zenai picks up, which in layman's terms means that you can stop an arrow without having to do anything. Solaris,
Oh,
try and stab me.
Wow.
are you sure?
Yep. She opens up both arms straight wide. She says, I'm telling you now, you won't be able to even scratch me.
All right.
Come on, give me a roll with everything you got.
Should I add my physical, my dexterity
Yes.
and strength
Yep,
modifier?
and your martial skill. You're going all in on this.
Oh, and 1 strength, 3 dexterity, so it's 9.
Yep, plus 9 to your roll.
I can't believe it. The sword.
You drive the sword at her belly with all your strength, and it's almost as if it stops mid-air, as if there is an invisible wall right in front of you. And all of a sudden, your sword is, you feel a force pushing your sword to the side as it swings to her left, your right. Arista says, that's aura magic. Zenai was using the spirits that are around her body to create a physicalized barrier that's invisible to the eye, but will be able to stop physical attacks. What this means is that if the 4 of you can master this, your durability in combat will skyrocket. Attacks that would wound or otherwise be lethal can be survivable if you master this technique.
Even I can master this technique because I'm not a mage or I'm really not good with magic.
Zenai laughs a little bit and she says, do you want to know a secret why the seraphs and the devils are considered so powerful, as she sarcastically states that?
Yeah.
It's because we both have ambition. You know that spirits are the thoughts and feelings that emanate off of one's soul. When you have a goal, a drive, a desire, a wish, and a want, your spirits try to guide you towards those outcomes. What that means is that anybody can use magic, but it's those who have a strong desire that tend to create the outcome that they want the most. The devils are a very negative aspect of that. Their ambition is sullied by greed and excess. Whereas the seraphs, we kind of accidentally benefited it from our biology, where we have to find our purpose in order to get our set of wings, which means that we're naturally inclined to have a drive, to have a purpose, which is why the seraphs are misunderstood as being one of the more powerful species. But that's just a grave misunderstanding. Anyone, even the tiniest fae, could overpower a devil or a seraph if they understood what it was that they wanted in life. You got to find your drive. You have to find your goal, your ambition. What is it you want to achieve? Once you can figure out who you are and what you want, then the only thing that can stop you in this world is yourself.
Spira kind of nods very thoughtfully.
Arista says, that is true. However, it also requires physical training in order to sustain the spirits. It's not as if you can just wish to be a god and then become a god. Zenai looks at her and says, some have tried. She's like, yes, I've heard the stories. Yeah. Chasing godhood doesn't end well. Arista wants to start you guys off with aura training, probably because she's worried you guys will get injured if you get into physical training with Zenai early on. All right. We have 6 weeks to get your characters ready for the birthday celebrations of Ginkgo. Rox had disappeared during all this conversation, and he's come back with a table as well as food and drink for everybody because he's aware that this is going to take a while. So you guys will be staying in the tower, but in the guest rooms closer to the lower levels, so you don't have to walk up and down 60 flights of stairs.
Thanks, God.
All right. Okay. So how aura works. Arista instructs the 4 of you to stand in a neutral position where you are most comfortable and to just close your eyes and focus. She says, this position, this stance will be very important for probably another set of training that Zenai has for you. But for today, I just want you to focus on the spirits that you are creating around your soul. I need you to listen to them. Zenai also pipes up and says, we might as well do spirit sense at the same time as well. While you're listening to your own spirits, also focus on the wild spirits around you. Try to differentiate from them. Understand the emotion behind them. Focus on them. The more you focus on them, you might be able to derive more knowledge from them. Maybe the thoughts that created them. It's far more advanced, but for now, focus on your spirits and the wild spirits. Okay, everybody give me a roll and include composure and resolve stats.
Composure and resolve.
And I'm going to basically make it a spell cast without casting a spell.
Yeah, I'm not too
Resolve
good.
-1 for composure, +2, +1.
Okay, so none of you did well there. Well, Nyx did pretty good. Okay. Nyx, remember you can add in your spirit sense as well to this.
Oh,
So +5 to
right,
that as
plus
well.
5.
So 19. So usually everybody's getting a training on spirit sense as well. This will be very important later on as well. Okay. You start to get a feel for this because you already have trained in it at your family's home. The other 3 struggle with this. Oh yeah, I need to roll for Hyacinth as well. I'll make that a public roll. Okay. You need to feel 2 incredibly different spirits flaring up around you as if a small storm had been whipped up. One is, it feels electric. It feels like adrenaline. The other is much more, it's a storm, but it's driven to shield. It's driven to protect. You get a feeling that there is 2 powerful winds pressing against you from different directions. Does anybody want to open their eyes?
I
No one?
open my eyes.
Okay. You see both Arista and Zenai have engaged in some type of magic. They are also standing in a similar pose in the neutral pose. However, you can see their hair is moving and their clothes are also rustling. And both of them generated a huge amount of aura in order to give you guys an example. It works very well because you can even sense the driving emotion behind it. Zenai is eager to get to combat, to the physical action, whereas Arista is worried that Zenai is going to go overboard and might actually scare you. So she's flaring her aura to try and mitigate the impact that Zenai might have on you. All right. Their auras start to calm down a bit. Give me another perception roll now. Laris, Hyacinth, and Spira. I'll roll for Hyacinth.
Perception. Okay,
The
that's
aura.
+5.
Is it a perception?
Yep, you can use perception. We'll make it a perception one this time.
I think that's a +1. I am very.
You start to get a feel for it. Like, you can after getting washed over with the extreme examples. In their absence, you start to notice your spirits in contrast to the wild spirits in the air around you. They are far more calm, it's far more subtle, but it seems as if Zenai and Arista actions has created a contrast which allows you to focus more on the wild spirits as well as your own. Spira asks all of you to please open your eyes. When you do, you Rox is holding a little box in his hands. When he opens it, you see that inside are little layers of gold leaf. He asks each of you to hold the gold leaf in your hand and to now try and focus on moving the gold leaf using nothing but your spirit. So you cup it with your hand so that the wind won't do it. And yes, give me another spellcast roll, so composure and resolve.
Resolve.
Yeah. Ooh, nice.
We are starting to get the hang of it.
Spira stopped thinking about it.
That'll do. Okay, all 4 of you almost immediately get the hang of moving the gold leaf. In fact, Aris, Spira, and Hyacinth are even able to control the gold leaf as it twirls around your bodies. So you get a hang of moving it. Nyx, you struggle a little bit, but because you can perceive the spirits better, you get an understanding that there are also playful wind spirits in the area that are messing around with yours as well. Yes. Arista claps her hands together and she says, very good, very, very good. Even Zenai have been impressed by this. And she's like, I didn't think they'd be ready for level 2 so quickly, but they kind of already have the nail of the gold leaf. And she's like, okay, the next level, please. Rox takes the gold leaf back from you, and in your place, he places a sheet of paper. And he's like, this is going to be a little more difficult. Give me another roll. You can click reveal. Ooh. Poor Hyacinth, she can't even pick up the piece of paper.
It's bigger than hers.
Arista apologizes, like, oh, right, yes, of course. And she tears it up into a much smaller piece and places it. And she's like, try again, Hyacinth. Okay, I tried, okay. She's like, it's okay, I'll get it eventually. And she's like, you will. All right, you know, guys all notice that it's much harder to move the paper. And Arista says, okay, that'll be all for now with regards to the aura training. I want you guys to do this every morning and evening. So when you wake up, I want you to do your aura training. Before you go to sleep, I want you to do your aura training. Okay, it's very important that you do this every day in order to get used to it, because right now you guys have to concentrate in order to use it. And Zenai looks and says, whereas in the middle of combat, the last thing you want to be doing is focusing on yourself. You need to be focusing on others. You need to be focusing on what's happening, the environment, the action, the combat, the moves, the counter moves, the strategy. You don't have time. You need to practice this until it becomes a reflex. Arister says, also, since we're working on spirit sense as well, a very nice thing about that is that you will be able to eventually be able to pick up on ill intent even in your sleep. So while you guys are asleep, you will sense if somebody is up to no good around you, which is very useful.
Please.
Zenai is like, okay, that's enough. That's enough on the mage training. Arista, okay, before I take them through the ringer with physical training, are any of you interested in learning magic?
Yes.
I mean, it sounds kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go and take a nap because Arista is going to be very excited to tell you all about it. She starts walking over, and you can see like even Rox is putting his hands in his face, like, oh no, what have you guys done? As Zenai heads over to the table, the resting area that Rox was busy setting up. She grabs some of the beer that Rox had set up, and she's starting to relax because Arista's eyes are beaming with excitement. She's like, I knew it. Okay, well, I brought this down with us before we left. She waves the book that she grabbed. This is a summary of the different magic systems that I have for you. So you can tell me which ones have your attention. And then while you guys are being trained by my sis, I can go up and try and find some more advanced notes on the fields that interest you most. I can't guarantee that we have everything, as you know, especially the ones that are forbidden. As much as I'd love to tell, we could chat all month about Soul Script, but no, I won't bother you on that. The first magic system, she's flicking through. She can't decide which one to start on. She's like, okay, alphabetical. We'll start in alphabetical. As you know, everything is based off of souls and spirits. So alphabetically, the first one is alchemy. Alchemy uses spirits to augment the chemical processes. So if you are interested in potion creating, in alterations, it's more than just chemistry. You use spirits and wild spirits to create magical properties to whatever it is that you are creating. It's not just potions, however. That's a common misconception. Alchemy can also apply to new steels and metals.
And can we make poison as well?
Absolutely.
Oh.
Why would you want to poison someone? she asked.
I'm just wondering if I can apply some poison to my daggers, it would be much more usable in combat. So I might be interested in alchemy.
Maybe take some notes down on the systems that interest you most, because we only have 6 weeks, so I can maybe get you guys started on the path with 2 at most, maybe. I'll do my best though. After alchemy, we have astral projection, which is sending your spirits out to gather information. And when they return to you, they provide you with whatever information they learned. So you can do this in your sleep as well, in which case you would be getting information in real time. However, if you want to use projection while you're conscious, you will have to wait for your spirits to return to you with information. Then we have aura. We're already starting that one. We have casting. Casting is very broad. We definitely don't have time to learn it, but I'm sure you've heard stories of witches and wizards where they will use a wand or they'll create magic circles to cast spells and such. That's a casting in a nutshell. It's a combination of both active and passive magic, but it's a very broad terminology for casting. There are many, many different casting systems in the world, but yeah, that's another one. We have here Dreamcraft. Dreamcraft is the use of spirits to create hallucinations and illusions, so both physicalized and in the minds of others. So similar to your primal ability, Solars. After Dreamcraft, we have Echo. Ooh, Echoes is considered a very dangerous but a very difficult type of magic. It uses residual magic. It uses spirits that are in the area that were remained after spell casting in order to repeat and alter whatever was cast in that area. It's a very specialized type of magic, very difficult, I've heard. However, it's an incredibly potent magic to know when you going up against other magic users, as you can reflect their own casting at almost the exact same time. That one might be tricky, but I can ask some of the other seraphs upstairs when we get a chance. So after echoes, we have etching. She looks at Zenai and she's like, I'm sure you've seen what etching does. Zenai just waves as she pulls down her sleeve and you can see the tattoos and scarification. She's like,
Oh,
So that's what that is.
yeah, etching is a type of runic and glyph combination. However, it's on living beings. So it's a different class of magic because runes and glyphs use wild spirits, whereas etching tends to use one's own inner spirit. Yeah, there is another element to it, but yeah, that's etching. It's using your own body as a medium. Okay, then we have foresight. This is actually one of the specialities of the humans. Foresight is communicating with wild spirits in order to gain greater understanding. It's similar to astral projection. Yeah, if astral projection is whatever is happening in real time, then foresight is glimpses into the past or future. Let's see here. We have glyphs. Yeah, we heard about glyphs already. That's when we use non-living. They're passive. So the glyphs will be running all the time until the glyph itself is destroyed. We have imbuement. Now, this is a branch off of aura training. So this one will be quite easy for you to learn after you've got a grasp on aura training. Imbuement is the extending aura, but to infuse your spirit with objects such as your weapons or your clothing or your armor or whatever. So it will empower them, making them sharper, harder to break. It's an enhancement type of magic. So yeah, you imbue your spirits into it. It also personalizes the weapons. Well, it would personalize those objects to you. I believe the Sonwu are very, their primal magic is very similar to this, where they will create soul weapons, which they bond with. Let's see, what else have we got here? We have Necros. Yeah, no, that one's forbidden. If you want to learn how to make a demon, that's Necros. Yeah, anything that involves the killing of spirit is categorized under Necros and is banned. It's forbidden. Zenai basically says, yeah, kill on sight. Seriously, you have permission to kill anyone using Necros magic on sight. She's not joking. Okay, then we've got Runic, which is what the dwarves love to use. That's non-living. And it's active, so it actually has to be activated. Then we have Soul Script, which is my specialty. Also, the Phoenix are natural soul scriptors since they bond their own souls in a loop to create undying. Let's see. Okay, you can't use Necros, you can't use Soul Script. Summoning. You can create entities out of your spirits or wild spirit. Your primal form, your soul form. Yes, your primal soul ability would be categorized under this. Summoning is using your spirits to create a miniature entity. It's not really alive per se, but you can give it instructions and it can control things and everything like that. Then we have Synchros, which is similar to the phase resonance. Not as easy to create. It's a resonance between people or groups of people with a shared belief. The orcs that Zenai, my sister, befriended, is accepted. I was accepted as a fellow orc. She laughs a little bit and she's like, yep, I am officially the prettiest orc around. She flexes her muscles. Yes. So yeah, the Synchros, the Orc are the most potent users of Synchros magic. They combine it with etching, where their shared belief creates a resonance. And she's like, and that's kind of the secret behind my power is the Orcs believe in these carvings, and because all of them believe in that carvings, they're resonating with me and empowering me. As long as I remind the tribes of my existence every few decades, because they tend to forget, as long as I remind them of my existence, then these etchings will continue to function indefinitely. So yeah, that's the secret behind Zenai's power here, is that, yeah, the orcs, they have treated her as an honorary orc, as part of the family, and therefore gets the buff that all orcs give each other. So orcs tend to empower themselves just by living together, which makes their numbers a bit of a problem for other species. If orcs get too numerous, it can get pretty dangerous pretty quickly. All right. However, in current times, Zenai is keeping the orcs in check. So the orcs are not raiding as much as they used to. However, yeah, Zenai is making sure that the orcs are behaving, which is why she reminds them of her existence every now and then. Okay, then we've got Talisman. Talisman magic is sealing magic. So you would use it to entrap or seal or lock away or hide. So you could use talismans for stealth as well. And then lastly, we have wildling magic, which is very random. I'm sure you've heard of the Quay or the Key. Some pronunciation is different depending on who you're talking to. Their imbuement of weapons with their scoots, with their form, that's a type of wildling magic where they're imbuing their emotions into objects, which makes those objects respond in. You can kind of get a feel for how they're going to respond, but you never know exactly what's going to happen when you use wildling magic. So those are all the basic magic systems that Arista currently knows of.
So we can choose 2 of these.
Yes.
I think I know which 2 of them I will choose. One of them is the imbuement.
Okay.
And the other one is alchemy.
Spira and Nyx, what would you?
That is a very good question.
Probably imbuement, and the casting is very broad.
Yeah, the hand signs that the Kitsune use for their tail abilities is a type of casting category. You know, you have to use a hand symbol, whereas
perfect.
Yeah, whereas other casting systems would involve the creation of magic circles or the use of wands or chanting, for example. The casting is a very broad range and requires a lot of study in whichever particular field it is. That does mean that there is a casting system that would use hand signs. If you want to, I would give you a bonus to learning that kind of system because you are already being raised on how to do that before.
Yes, especially my parents.
In fact, I would say that there already exists a type of casting magic in the Celestial Den that would use hand signs beyond just the tail system. So we'll roll with that.
Perfect.
So we have 2 imbuement, 1 alchemy, 1 casting. Spira, what interests you?
I am slightly stuck in 3 right now. I'm thinking about alchemy because of potions, so more of the healing properties and less of the poisoning properties.
I mean, yin and yang, it works. Sometimes you have to use the poison in order to save the patient.
It's like we are in the opposite side of a spectrum. Fully intend to harm anyone with my
fully
poison.
intend to protect everyone.
We got a healer and a poisoner here.
So is that you two can learn from each other, like,
Yes.
and experiment together. So I would factor that in on your journey because, as I said, with skills, the more you use skills, or if you can find a master, or if you experiment and learn, those are the ways that you will level up your skills. So having 2 people studying alchemy together would give each other a buff on how fast they can learn.
Plus,
Daenerys poisons the team
Spira
and I
mess-
attempt to heal them.
plus if Spira messes up a potion, we can still use it as a poison.
So don't worry about double dipping on the party. Again, less game, more story. And it has something for you to bond over.
Yeah, so I'm kind of thinking about that. That fits with Spira's story a whole lot. I'm also thinking about either summoning or echoes.
Ooh, I see.
That's a nice one.
So Arista says, okay, with Echo, sometimes if you use it recklessly, you might not know what it is that you're about to cast. That is what I have here in my notes, is that reckless use of echoes, sometimes you bring back something that shouldn't be brought back. Please don't use echoes near a demon.
Oh no.
That said, having a party member go through demonification would be kind of terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
I'm not saying that just to dissuade you. It is a very useful type of magic. It's actually a type of counter magic.
Yeah.
Because you can use it to negate, especially if somebody like shoots lightning at you, you can shoot lightning to negate it. Echoes is cool. Summoning is also a branch of like your Arista tugs your sleeve and it's just like, well, about the summoning, have you ever tried making your soul smaller?
Not really.
I've always wanted to. I've been chatting to my friend Elorena. Elorena is my friend. We have been doing some experiments with the primal soul, and what we noticed is that most centaurs tend to just allow the ability to go to its absolute maximum, which is incredibly exhausting. I'm sure you've experienced this at least before when you've attempted it. It's very tiring, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of is. But as long as I've cast it, I don't really have to exert myself after that. But the casting is exhausting.
Here's where we've been experimenting. So Elorena and I, what we noticed is that you can actually make the primal soul smaller. So you split your soul between your body, because I specialize in soul scripts. So I was able to study what happens during this process. And it means that there's always a tiny piece of soul that remains in your main body, whereas the rest of your soul physicalizes into your primal form. What we've been able to do through our testing and experimentation is find a way to shrink it down so that you can summon the Shecklin pony. However, the distribution of the ratio of your soul between the two is far more balanced, and so you feel far less exertion on your body. We have this is still a bit experimental, but we've been able to successfully split the summoning into two smaller pieces, which means that if you want, we could maybe allow you to summon multiple primal forms of your soul, which would almost categorize you as a vampire, but in the opposite direction. The vampires turn their souls, they physically split their bodies, each containing a piece of their soul, whereas this is physicalizing the soul into multiple different pieces. So it's similar but different. What that means, and Zenai interrupts and she says, what that means is that you would be able to project aura from all of your souls. So you could create mobile shields. For the team.
Nice. But wouldn't it mean that the smaller summon is weaker?
I would say that the spirit output of each summon would be less. However, you would have far more versatility in how you can guide and direct. See, what it means is that you could create, say, 5 miniature primal centaur, and each one could provide additional defenses to each member of the party. That is an option.
Sounds really interesting. I think I might focus on that a bit.
Okay, I will do some digging into the echoes though. Okay, it's not my specialty. As I said, I do know of a seraph upstairs who knows more about echo magic. So I will I'll have to chat with him for a bit. But yeah, maybe he'll meet you someday and can help share what he knows.
Yeah, that sounds really interesting.
Right. So then we have 2 alchemy, 2 imbuement, 1 summon. Oh, and casting.
Casting.
And I'll have to chat with Tella to find out what Hyacinth wants, because she's daydreaming at the moment throughout all this conversation. She's being distracted by the fire on the table. Yeah, you guys have some food, some lunch. Arissa has already flown up to the 60th level to start digging in her books to get stuff on the magic systems that you guys are interested in. And yeah, Zenai, she cracks her knuckles and she's like, the 4 of you come here, and she says, okay, I'm going to put blindfolds on each of you, and you're going to use your spirit sense, the abilities that we were testing before when you were, and I want you guys to slowly try to swing fisticuffs at each other while focusing on the spirits emanating from each of you. So I'll put you into pairs. Let's make this fun. She smiles. She says, let's put the Abyssal and the Kitsune together. I want the 2 of you. I want the 2 of you to swing fisticuffs at each other.
All right.
If this is just for training after all.
While at the same time also focusing on your aura so that you can try and mitigate any actual hits that come by. But the main focus should be on sensing and avoiding attack rolls. So give me strength and dex rolls. She put blindfolds on each of you. Oh my Lord.
God.
Okay. And now give me a spirit sense. So we'll just use the casting roll. So resolve and composure.
Oh no.
And then we'll be comparing it against the roll of the other. So Nyx's attack versus your sense.
No.
Almost 1 point. Oh.
I hope you're all right.
So the two of you take a swing at each other. Solaris, you can sense the intent coming from Nyx's fist. However, it's not in time, and it connects with the side of your shoulder. You also get a general feel. Oh yeah, Nyx, you're supposed to add +5 to that because of your spirit sense. Sorry.
Right. That's +5.
So 13. Okay, that's better. That's better. You also sense it. However, the moment you realize where it's coming from, there's no dodging that, and you get punched on the side of your cheekbone. So it's not like you got a right hook, but it grazed the side of your cheek. Fortunately, because you guys are also doing the aura training at the moment, neither of you were injured or felt pain, especially because you were doing slow swings. You weren't going all out. All right, Spira and Hyacinth. This one's going to be a bit tricky. So what Zenai is going to do is Zenai is going to very gently swing a punch at the 2 of you. and you must do the same, sense and also attack. So let's start off with the attack.
That was regular. Which modifiers did I do?
Strength and dex. Let's see, Teller's character has 0 dex and -3 strength, so 16. So now for Zenai's rolls against Hyacinth and against Spira. Okay, give me composure and resolve. Tell again. 16. All right, it's actually very similar to before as well, and the two of you manage to you get lightly tapped by it. However, neither of your solid wall, but it felt weird because the vibration went up your arm, but you felt no pain. It was a very weird sensation, like you were in a dream. Okay, we're gonna speed this up a little bit, so we're just gonna do contesting rolls. Give me just a pure d20 roll against each other, straight up. We're just gonna do some speed rolls now. Boom. These two are neck and neck, but Sorors gets just ahead in the first bout. Ignores her protests. Yes, protests. So it goes on like this for the first couple of days. We're gonna accelerate time here a little bit. So for the first few days, you guys are focusing purely on your aura and your spirit sense. Give me one more aura roll. I want to see if you can reach the next level of aura training, because you're
Oh my god.
all right. After a few days, the group, almost everyone in the group, Nix, those pesky wind spirits are really messing with you today. They know a Kitsune is not supposed to be here.
Those pesky spirits.
After some one-on-one sessions with Arista, you start to get the hang of how to move the paper as well. Rox puts the paper back into the box and takes out the final level, which is a large pebble. So you now have to float and move this pebble. This is a serious jump in your aura training. As for spirit sense, everybody just give me a pure d20 and +5. Right, yep. So everybody now they've developed their spirit sense, so everybody gets a new skill. If you already have spirit sense, such as Nix, it'll go up to the next level.
Oh, we did it at the same time.
Oh, that's funny. So your spirit sense key is now at +10. Wow.
Yes, I just moved it.
Oh.
That is nice.
I mean, the Kitsune also have pretty good base perception with your sense of smell and hearing. Yeah, basically nobody be sneaking up on you. Alrighty then. So after the first week, we still have 5 weeks to go. Don't worry, I'm not gonna make this entire session just the 6 weeks. Although at the rate we're going, maybe it will be. Okay, so after 1 week, you've gotten the hang of spirit sense, as well as you're progressing well on the aura training. Arista has gathered her notes on alchemy and has gone about instructing Spira and Solaris in your spare time. So when you're not doing aura training, when you're not doing martial training or physical training, you're also studying. It's a full-on endurance match. Let's do physical training. Zenai instructs Spira and Hyacinth to focus on dodging and endurance training. So this will increase your dexterity and stamina and strength. So I'll tell you when to increase them. Spira and Hyacinth are literally ordered to fly up and down the tower and in circles around it. So you're spiraling around the tower, flying up and down and up and down and up and down and up and down.
Wow.
Meanwhile, Solaris and Nix are constantly having to run through the obstacle courses, racing each other while running through the obstacle courses. So everybody can get a +1 to their dex, strength, and stamina. And I'm going to make that for the entire training session with Zenai. So everybody's getting a +1 boost there. Okay, I'm going to let you guys edit your own character sheets. I'm not going to touch those. I'm just editing things. So this is what you guys are going to be doing for several weeks as far as the physical training goes. As for combat training, you know, Arista said you guys were going to die if you didn't get this training. So I'm not kidding. You're getting a big stat boost. Zenai is ready to teach you guys martial skills as well. So for Hyacinth, I'm going to make it dodge training so that they can continue to practice their evasion skills. Spira, this will go towards your bow and arrow skills. So Zenai teaches you a technique you've never seen before. It's definitely not something the centaur have used or developed a special type of bow stance where you hold 3 arrows in your hand. When you pull forward, you lean forward as you pull the bow, so that as you rapid fire each arrow, your torso will be lifting up with each one. But by starting off leaning forward, you're able to maintain your accuracy even as you're rapid firing. See, this will allow you to fire 3 arrows in a single turn.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, you will level up your archery skill, Spira. So your bow and arrow can go up to, I think it's +3 now.
Level 3.
Yeah, level 3. Yep. Maybe also leave a note here saying triple shot. All right. That does mean you will burn through your ammo that much faster, but I mean, you can't complain with getting 3 shots. Before Nyx and Solaris go on their sword fighting train, Zenai walks up to Nyx and says, about that sword you have, is it for sale by any chance?
I grip onto the sword tightly. No, it's not.
Such a shame. You could buy 3 of those towers, as she gestures with her thumb at the huge tower behind you. You could buy 3 of those towers for that sword.
Well, this sword means to me more than those towers. The sword means to me more than my own life, it seems. This is a gift from a dear friend who's no longer here.
Fascinating. Would you be willing to tell me the name of this friend of yours?
His name was Jiro.
And his last name? He's a branch family member, so it'll be the same as your family.
Jiro Makoto.
Makoto. No way. What you're holding there is one of the legendary swords of Kotaro. Has your family ever told you this story?
No.
You do know of the legend, but you didn't know that his name was Kotaro Makoto. This is a legend that has morphed on the Celestial Den. Very few people on the Celestial Den even know that your family is actually a descendant of Kotaro. Nai goes ahead and explains what's happening. So before the Celestial Den entered into its period of isolation, 1,000 years ago, there was a friendship between 3 species: Hang from the Kwai, Kotaro from the Kitsune, and Eferal from the Seraph. Now, these 3 are legendary figures in each of their own community, but not many will speak of their friendship. The legend goes that these 3 combined their abilities and knowledge to create 12 legendary swords. And it was believed that Kotaro convinced his friends to help him forge these swords in order to end the conflicts of tales within his own people. The legend says that Hang was the smith from the Kwai, and that he used his 13 scoots. For the Kwai, their sign of development, their sign of growth is how many of their scoots they can control, and it is said that he mastered all of them. Kotaro, it was said that he achieved 9 tails, and Eferal was said to be one of the few seraphs in existence to reach 6 wings. That's why these 3 are considered legendary figures. And it's, as the story goes, Kotaro pleaded with his friends to help him find a way to bring an end to the tail theft on the Celestial Den. And so Eferal offered up his feathers, Kwai set up the forge, and Kotaro used his foxfire to light the forge. And these 3 friends, combining their abilities and sacrifice and skills, forged 12 swords with a very unique property. As you saw in my combat with the demon, seraph wings and seraph feathers have the ability to absorb spirits, to contain them. It was said that Kotaru's foxfire was able to not burn the seraph feathers to ash, but to transmute them into something more, to fuse with the metal in Hang's forge. And Hang's skill, with all 13 of his scoots, with all 13 elements of his being, was able to finally control the application of the properties of seraph feathers into the blades that he forged, creating 12 legendary swords that have the ability to create tails through the absorption of spirit. And it is said that these swords is what created the proliferation of tails on the Celestial Den and brought about a sense of stability. However, being such incredibly powerful weapons, many of them were stolen, went missing, destroyed, hidden. I would not be surprised if the 3 royal families are hoarding the majority of these swords today. But it seems that this one was kept hidden within your family line all along. How it came to be into your hands, I don't know, or how it fell into the hands of this Jiro individual. The result is that you are in possession of one of the 12 swords that would enable you to develop tails without having to steal it from another kitsune or training decades of your life to get another one.
My eyes widen as I look down at the sword.
Yeah, that sword is worth a fortune. A word of advice, though. don't use it on the demons, as she asks to borrow the sword for a second from you.
I would slowly hand it to her, curious to what she means by this.
You notice that the blade is already darkened from when you were fighting the demon before, and she immediately slashes a tree from the top down. She splits the tree in half, and as she does so, you notice that the tree itself starts to wither and dies, but the blade's shine returns completely. And she said, if I hadn't purged it just now, then if you tried to form a tail with this, you would have poisoned yourself, similar to how the plague wraith poisoned Spira over there. She hands the sword back to you.
Oh no.
Wow.
Poor tree, though.
Better the tree than me.
Yes, Spira, how do you react?
Spira was listening very intently, and then on the last remark, she got a bit, not annoyed, but slightly peeved, just looked away.
Arista bounces over and is like, Solaris, quickly, help me harvest this. We could use it for alchemy. Necros-infused wood powder would make incredible poison.
I'm running there.
Just sprinting.
Even though Necros magic is forbidden, this was just a natural byproduct.
Teamwork, indirectly.
Exactly. Yes, you have a tool to develop tails without having to go back to the Celestial Den.
I was wondering that.
As you're fighting other creatures and enemies, I will be factoring in how many spirits that sword is drawing in, and after a certain duration, I will allow you to create a new tail.
Ooh. Nyx will be living their dream soon.
I'm kind of side-eyeing Nyx with envious look.
We now will go ahead with the training itself. So Spira, while you're doing your archery practice, I'm going to have these two General Zenai. So both of you at the same time versus Zenai. Let's go. Give me your
2-on-1 is not fair.
Now I'll give you a bonus because it's both of you attacking her, and I'll also blindfold her as well.
Wait a minute. I'm not getting any bonuses to my martial prowess. I was training for weeks.
No, this is what this training is for.
This is what this
Oh,
is.
this is okay. Oh, so
Add your strength, dex, and martial prowess.
Okay, 5,
Yeah.
7.
watch me still not. Oh, okay.
Yep, nope, she effortlessly swats away both of your swords. However,
Of course.
she starts giving you guys pointers on your technique as you're trying to swing at them.
Mhm.
She notices that you're holding...
I always imagined it as a short sword.
She gives you instructions on how to use both of them. She also instructs the two of you on how to use your swords single-handedly as well. And she explains to you that when you need power, you use both hands. However, when you're using finesse, or if you feel that you can still overpower with one hand, then you can use one-handed techniques. The advantage of using one-handed techniques is that it frees up your other hand for other uses, such as casting with your hand shapes. So Nyx, eventually you'll be able to do one-handed seal casting while fighting with the katana in the other hand. Solaris, this will allow you to also pull out extra daggers or poison bombs or smoke bombs or whatever it is. So she's teaching you how to fight with single-handed and dual-handed technique. And what this means is that when you're attacking someone, you can state which stance you want to use when making the attack, and I will factor that into, so you get like a bonus to the strength aspect of it when you're using both hands.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, you've unlocked dual multi-handed forms. All right, so give me another roll against her. Let's see if you can impress. Ooh, very nice. After several minutes of the two of you going at them, because remember, I'm factoring in that you guys are working together on this. After several minutes at going at her, you're finally able to get past her sword guard and to hit her aura shield. So you managed to reach the shield.
Yay, that's something.
She laughs a little bit and she's like, let's make this a little bit more challenging for me. Spira, take a shot at me as well. You can use your new triple shot technique. All of you can attack again.
That is strength and stamina, right?
Strength and dexterity plus your bow skill. Oh wow, that's nice. Okay, that's impressive. And everybody rolled so high. So she's fending off the two of you using the new one-handed technique she was explaining to you, because she normally uses a rapier and her hand behind her back. She actually grabs 2 of the 3 arrows. However, 1 arrow reflects off of her aura shield, at which point she actually looks towards the direction where Spira is. She's still wearing her blindfold though. But yeah, Zenai looks towards Spira. Is it like, wait, you actually landed the third one? While still blocking off the two of you. However, you notice that she's being pushed back by the two of you. So even though she's still holding up her guard against you, the three of you are forcing you back, and an arrow got through. Or let's do one more. And fine, I'll add her stats to it as well.
I rolled on that one.
I only gave her plus 20 because she's blindfolded. The three of you working together start to more consistently get past her guard. Your spirit senses are starting to also reach a point where they're naturally activating, and you can feel it's a mixture of frustration and excitement. And you can see, even though she's blindfolded, that a smirk is beginning to take form on her face as the three of you start practicing your skills against her. She starts getting a bit more serious now as she takes off the blindfold. One more attack.
Whoa.
Ooh.
Nice.
Okay, yeah. When she lifts off the blindfold, she's now actually able to synergize better, and she's holding off the two. But however, the three of you guys are really, you're standing her. She's not pushing forward anymore. She was stepping back as it was going, but now you're holding off against each other. However, she opens up one set of wings and it overpowers the three of you almost immediately.
Of course.
Of course. But brilliant effort from the three of you. Yeah, you definitely have earned your upgrade. I've pushed Hyacinth's acrobatics up to the 3rd level as well, so Hyacinth's now getting plus 10 to their dodge rolls, which I think they'll be appreciative of. That actually completed. So if you, for your martial skills, you can increase it the extra level. Regarding the magic, everybody give me wit and intelligence rolls. We're gonna see how.
That's 0 for me.
+2 because I have 0 in intelligence.
Yeah, Hyacinth has negative intelligence, but 2 wit, so it gets the +1.
She is negative.
So your lessons with Arista are going well. They're difficult because she's just instructing you guys on the basics of these magic systems. She doesn't have time to go into the advanced forms of them. However, Spira and Solaris, you start to get an understanding of alchemy. It's a type of crafting where you're imbuing spirit during the crafting process. So as you're grinding down herbs or as you're melting metals, you're infusing your spirits into the element to augment it with a magical property. So you're starting to get a sense for that. As for the imbuement training, it goes in tandem with your martial lessons as well as your aura training. As you're fighting Zenai, she's also expecting you to be putting your aura into your weapons as well to sharpen them and to empower them. So you guys are doing double training as well. Spira, you spend time with Arista practicing the summoning magic system, and she teaches you the techniques that she has been working with Elorena, and you successfully split your soul into multiple fragments. At first, it's the full-sized ones, so each primal soul that you summoned is about half the size of the first one you ever summoned. It feels really weird because it's almost as if you've plucked out one eyeball and have started looking at yourself, because you can feel your soul in 3 different places. It's very weird. It's a very strange sensation where, especially the further apart they go, when you feel the aura coming off of the combat between Zenai, Nyx, and Solaris, the aura, the spirits hit your summons at different times because they're standing at different places, and it creates this weird like tremble because it's going to take a while for you to get used to that, but it actually means that each one of these summons can be used to amplify your spirit sense as well. So they are not only mobile shields, but they can also be multiple detection systems as well, which is really cool. With more practice, you'll eventually be able to split it into more pieces. So let's see, what was the last one? Oh yes, casting. Yeah, you and Arista head into the tower, and she takes you to a seraph specialist who has dedicated themselves to studying the celestial den. He has always wanted to go, but he still hasn't got a permit. He's been waiting 30 years for a permit.
Oh my god.
I hate to say it, but he's the weeb seraph.
Oh no.
We're gonna call him.
Too scared to give him a permit.
We're going to call him Marcule. He's absolutely honored to teach you the casting magic of the Celestial Den. He jokes a bit about how he never thought that he'd be teaching this to a kitsune himself. Everything he's learned has been from texts that have been smuggled off of the island itself. He's not the best teacher in the world.
Manga.
Yeah, he's imported their manga. And as much as he's supposed to be teaching you, most of the time you spend with Marcule is you're answering his question. However, you do start to get a grasp on the different hand shapes, both dual-handed and single-handed shapes. As for the alchemy side of things, you guys will have more uses. It's not just making potions and such. There'll be more uses to it. This has taken about a month at this point. There are 2 weeks left. Hyacinth has disappeared. She's been doing the training, the physical training and the aura training. But as for the magic training with Arista, the three of you are not sure what she's up to, but we will find out next week.
Stealing something.
Oh my god, if she comes back with necros, she's back into the forbidden section.
Just more moth of death.
She would need to have a skull pattern on her wings after that.
Yeah.
I think that's where we're going to call it. Wrap up the training arc at the beginning of next week, and then we will head off to go and visit the Monkey King, Jinko.
Yay.
The next episode should be right here. Thanks for watching.